Time for another board game review, and this time we have the game Virulence. Virulence? An infectious card game. This was sent to me by Genius Games, and is designed by John J. Coviu. Take on the role of virus, competing to infect a host cell and replicate your viral components. Virulence, an infectious card game, is addictively simple, highly competitive, and can be taught in only minutes. Let me show you how to play. So Virulence is a bidding and drafting game, and you use your cards to bid on which cards you take. So, at the beginning of each round, you draw a number of cards equal to the number of players, and you put them face up. And then you take one of the cards, an additional card, and put it on top of the first card. Unless it is a mutated bidding card or a vaccine, we'll get into those cards later. If it's one of those cards, you put on the next one, and so on and so forth. Like that. And then each of you plays a bidding card. So you start with cards 1 through 6, and then you also have a reassortment card. Each player puts them down. Let me just move these up a little bit. Each player puts one down, and then you all reveal. Whoever has the highest of those cards gets first pick of what they want to take. So, let's say the first player who played the 4 takes these 2 cards. Then whoever played the 3 would pick a card, so on and so forth. If 2 or more bidding cards have the same virulence number, then you resolve a tie. We'll get into that later. Once everyone has chosen the cards in order, then they take the bidding card they used, put it face down in their personal discard pile. If any cards were not chosen, I'll explain how that can happen later, then those cards get put out of the game. Now, most cards are just these regular viral component cards like helical and icosahedral. These score in different ways. So this one, the more you have, up to 16, you get 16 points if you have all 4 of them. This one, if you collect up to 6 of them, you can score a different amount of points. Pretty standard board game stuff. The reassortment card is useful because if you play this face down during a bidding, you don't pick up a card. Instead, you get to pick up all the cards that were in your discard pile, because each time you use one of these bidding cards, they go in your discard pile and you can't pick them up until you play this card. If you wait and this is the only card left in your hand, then you get to take all your cards back immediately at the end of a round without skipping a card drawn. So if you play it right, you can get rewarded and not have to waste a turn by playing one of these to get your cards back. There are also mutated bidding cards. These are special cards that are just more powerful versions of your bidding cards. So if you claim one of these, you pick one of the bidding cards in your discard pile, or the card you play that round, and remove it from the game, and this card would go into your discard pile instead. So you'll automatically replace one of your already existing bidding cards. This sort of game flow of, you each play a card face down and reveal, highest to lowest gets to pick cards, draw 4 more cards. This continues until you run out of cards in the deck. Now let's go through some rules. So if there's ever a tie, if 2 of you play the same bidding card, then each tied player rolls 2 dice, and that is the tiebreaker. So this one's 9 to 11. So whoever rolled 11 would break the tie and get to pick first. There are these increased virulence cards. These give you a permanent sort of boost for tiebreakers. Like this one is +3 to dice rolls, and it's also worth +1 point at the end of the game. So you can also add these to your rolls if you have selected them in bidding rounds. There are also wild cards that count as both helical or icosahedral. And you can choose where to put those for maximum scoring as you get them. There are also spherical envelope cards. These, if you have the most of these at the end of the game, you get 12 points. Second place gets 6, and you have the least amount of these, that's -6 points at the end of the game. There are vaccine cards that are just straight up bad because you're a virus, and so they're negative points when you pick them up. And then there are the bonus cards. So you can see here, this one says helical bonus +7. What that means is if you complete a helical set first, in this case 6 helical cards, then you get to claim the bonus card when you pick up your cards. Once that's done, a new bonus will be revealed. In this case, it's icosahedral. Whoever completes that first will get that bonus card, which is worth 4 points. And that's pretty much the game. You use your bidding cards to draft cards, and then once the deck is out, You calculate your score by counting up all the different scoring methods. If there is a tie, you add up the virulence numbers of all 6 of your bidding cards at the end. Highest virulence number wins. And that's pretty much the game. So this game was actually a lot of fun. It reminds me of a game I also enjoy called For Sale, where you play your cards to try to draft cards in order of highest to lowest. I've always enjoyed having to balance when it's worth using your better cards, and I actually really like the mechanic of the reassortment card, where if you wait to use it and it's the only one card left in your hand, you get rewarded because you don't have to spend a turn to pick your cards up. That's just a smart, fun mechanic. I think there's like one rule that's a little fiddly, the whole setup of like, because one of my least favorite words in a board game manual is unless. So it's like, okay, you stack one additional card on the first card unless it's this type of card or this type of card. And then I get that it's for balancing, but it's always just one thing to potentially forget. It's just a little nitpick of mine. I don't like those kinds of rules in games. But that's a very minor, sort of problem I have. I like the concept of the mutated bidding cards that can give you a better edge in later bidding rounds. The dice rolling is a little silly, but I actually do like that the increased virulence cards give you kind of like little upgrades that give you a boost with those. Otherwise, it's just typical, kind of fun Sushi Go style scoring, collect sets and most of one card, least of one card, or having the most of one card gets you more points, so on and so forth. It's always fun. I like these kind of games. So overall, if you like that kind of concept of, alright, you all simultaneously bid, reveal, first pick, and drafting cards, this one's fun. I like the special upgrade cards that, improve your game as you play, and I like the theme. I think this one's very solid.